Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you?
Great. Thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. I'm a cop now, so I'm making good money. I just moved into a house in the suburbs with my wife.
Wow, I can't believe you became a cop.
Why do you say that?
Well, primarily because you used to be a pretty wild guy. I remember when we all used to drink and get high together and listen to hardcore and metal.
Well, I grew up. I'm not into that anymore. I only hang out with other cops, or the few old friends I have that respect me now that I'm a cop.
Okay, so you were married? That's nice. Tell me about your wife.
My wife is really strong. She knows that every morning when I leave the house, I might not come home. Because my job is really dangerous.
Dangerous. Isn't the violent crime rate here fairly low? Like, to the point of non-existence?
I never know what I'm walking into. When I pull someone over, I never know if they have a gun.
Has anyone ever pulled a gun on you before?
No, not yet. Thank God. But just last night, I had to break up a house party. A bunch of teenagers were playing rap music really loud and drinking. Some of them had what appeared to be gang colors on and were wearing their pants down really low. I could see their boxers. That's usually a sign of gang activity. That's one situation that could have gone really wrong. Luckily, my fellow officers and I were able to take control of the situation without any shots fired.
I heard about that. I live on the same street. I heard 10 of you broke down the door and really tore the house up. There's thousands of dollars worth of damage. I also heard you beat some of those kids up really bad. Is that true?
2 of the suspects had to be taken into custody because they were resisting.
Resisting what?
Resisting being put up against a wall and being searched.
Searched for what?
Drugs, guns, all the kinds of things we know gang members normally have on them. We had to make sure the situation was safe for us.
Did you find any of those things?
No guns. They must have ditched them before we were able to find them.
Or maybe they didn't have any of those things to begin with.
I doubt that. The neighbor that called said that some of them were drug dealers. So we know there were drugs on the premises. In fact, we did find a few blunts and rolling papers on the patio.
Well, you used to get high too when you were a teenager. But you weren't in a gang, and you weren't a drug dealer. Why would you think that those kids were?
Because of the way they dress. And the music that they listen to. They also had tricked-out Japanese cars, Hondas and Nissans that are low to the ground with chrome rims and blacked-out taillights and loud stereos that they use to blast rap music like the Insane Clown Posse and the Murder League All-Stars. I pull over cars like that all the time.
You used to have long hair and drove a souped-up rock and blast Iron Maiden and Dokken on your stereo. So I'm still failing to see the connection.
That was different. That was just youthful rebellion. These kids are hardcore. There were even a couple of blacks and Latinos there. It was a dangerous situation that could have gone really bad. Luckily, we were trained in how to deal with those kinds of situations and my fellow officers and I handled it by the book.
Oh, the book says it's okay to break an unarmed kid's ribs with your nightstick after he's handcuffed.
He was resisting and being verbally abusive.
I hope you don't mind me saying so, but you're a complete asshole. I know that boy. I know his mother. He's a good student and was having a graduation party at his house. He was supposed to start college in the fall, but now he needs multiple surgeries to heal the wounds you caused and his mother is likely to go bankrupt paying for legal defense because of the multiple charges you arrested him for. What exactly did he do to deserve all that?
He called me a pig and didn't comply with my repeated instructions to get down on the floor.
His mother said he was asking you why you were breaking into the house? You had dogs that were barking very loudly, and you and the other cops were yelling very loudly on top of that. He was probably scared and confused. He's never been in any trouble before.
I'm sorry that you don't see the seriousness of the situation. It was a hotbed of gang activity. You're probably not aware of this, but those of us in law enforcement are concerned about possible links between gangs and terrorism. So, this being the case, we have to be extremely careful because we never know if we are going to find operational plans for terrorist attacks or, God forbid, even weapons of mass destruction.
What does your wife think about these things? Do you tell her about them?
Yes, of course I tell her. And she thinks I'm brave. She and the other officers' wives know that we put our lives on the line every day to keep society safe for everyone else.
Oh. So she's retarded? Or is she one of those women who has absolutely no identity of her own and so she's happy to give her life meaning with your idiotic and incorrect fantasy about what police officers are actually supposed to be doing?
I bet you won't feel that way the next time you're in danger and in need of the police.
Yes. Next time I'm in need of a brutal beating by an armed thug, I'll definitely regret having had this conversation.
Well, keep dressing like that with your belly shirts and showing off your camel toe, and it probably won't take long before one of these gang members around here decides to make you his bitch.
Wow.